Karl-Anthony Towns on the move out of Minnesota. Developing story here on SportsCenter. The New York Knicks and Minnesota are finalizing a trade involving Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo, along with the first-round draft pick for Karl-Anthony Towns. First reported by The Athletic and confirmed by ESPN. A third team, the Charlotte Hornets, also is a part of the trade to absorb additional salary. And take a look at this tweet right here that Karl-Anthony sent out just about an hour ago after seeing the trade, and I'm curious to see what the story behind that ellipsis will be. For more on the breaking news, let's welcome in our NBA analyst, Monica McNutt. Monica, the Knicks have already been so busy during the offseason. Now you get this blockbuster trade, Karl-Anthony Towns going to New York. Your initial reaction to this news?
Well, okay. All right. This is happening. Listen, this Knicks front office has been very diligent about capitalizing on the moment. And obviously, the issues at center in particular going into this season were at the forefront and the top line item to be addressed. This, in fact, does do that. I think both teams are actually getting a piece that they believe will help move them forward. And so, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. The Julius Randle, Karl-Anthony Towns piece of it all had been rumored for a while in the city. I think the Donte DiVincenzo thing is the part that's taking some fans a little bit more by surprise.
And then let's take a look at the flip side of this. What are the Timberwolves getting in Donte DiVincenzo and Julius Randle being out there in Minnesota?
Well, obviously, DiVincenzo had a terrific year last year in terms of shooting the basketball, setting a new record in the New York Knicks uniform. But when you talk about Julius Randle, over the last 5 years, he's practically been a 20-10 guy for the New York Knicks. He obviously is able to operate at that nail in that high post. He can step back and shoot the three. There's a little bit more physicality to Randle's brand of basketball compared to Karl-Anthony Towns. And so I think when I look at what the Timberwolves have going on, the grit that Julius Randle plays with, I think, aligns with what they probably need to take their next step. I am curious, though, similarly as the concerns were about Cat and Rudy Gobert, I am curious about the spacing in Minnesota.
And when you take a look at the Knicks, they've been desperately looking for a big man, desperately looking for a center. How does Karl-Anthony Towns kind of fill that gap for New York?
This one's going to be interesting. I mean, he's a guy, obviously, that rebounds the ball well. In the postseason, I believe he was like a 19-9 sort of guy, and that's going to be important. They need a rim protector. They need someone to man the paint and anchor Tom Thibodeau's defense. But I think his willingness to pick and pop with Jalen Brunson is going to be something I'm really curious to see how it plays out. Will it be something that is emboldened here in New York? Or will he be asked to spend a little bit more time operating in the paint? And so I like the height and the size that this New York Knicks front line now has. When you think about the Eastern Conference, the Joel Embiid's, the Giannis Antetokounmpos, when healthy, the Kristaps Porzingis. So the size that the Knicks now put out in their first five is something that really catches your eye, and the versatility of their defenders.
The Knicks trying to compete with that Celtics team that's defending that NBA title. Monica McNutt with the latest. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, Monica.
No problem.
Who is the first title out of New York, the Knicks or the Liberty?
Well, I don't believe the Knicks have won a championship in my lifetime, so got to be the Liberty.
I'm going to say the Liberty.
Yeah.
The Knicks going to win a championship, bro.
I don't think in my lifetime. I'm just saying they will, but I won't be around to see it. I mean, I ain't been around to see it. I mean, we've been around to see them go to the finals one time, and it was a lockout year.
You gotta stop all this, man. You make it hard to get up here, man. You know you like going to New York, right?
Yeah, I'm good in New York.
I know. We all good in New York.
I'm good.
Keep it like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's always going to be
in your
good.
lifetime, Lord, you got like another 50 years.
I know.
In your lifetime? So the Knicks ain't going to win in 50 years.
As long as Dolan is the owner, I just don't think they'll win.
Man,
anytime him and R.J. Barrett are on the floor, people are screaming at them. They're going left. They're going left. Everybody know you can go around this desk, up the block, down the Seaport, all over the city, and all you got to do is come back to their left hand. You know what they're going to do. Here's the problem with Julius Randle. Two things. Number one, you forgot you right there. You know, God blessed you with two hands, not one. Not two, Julius Randle. Two, you actually can use your right hand. It is not a crime to use your right hand, Julius Randle. That's number one. And number two, they are questioning your maturity. They're saying that you get a bit emotional, and you're going out there constantly trying to prove that you're worth the money that you're getting paid and what your individual accolades, what you want them to be, are a priority over the team. Julius Randle, I am done with this man. I'm calling for the New York Knicks to trade him. You're not going to win with him. His body language, the second his shot is not falling, he's defeated, and it has contagious effect. It's like a virus that hits everybody, no pun intended, considering the times we live in. Julius Randle is not the answer. Trade him. He needs to go because every postseason, this is what he does, and that's the way that it is. 14 field goals by Jalen Brunson. The entire rest of the Knicks, all other 8 players who played, 13 field goals. An absolutely pathetic offensive performance, and the New York Knicks season is over. Julius Randle is not the answer. Trade for Damian Lillard or Karl-Anthony Towns.
So I've been saying it since Vegas. They got to figure out a way to move him. It's not even about that. It's just I just don't think he fits what they're trying to do right now.
Leave the Knicks alone, bro. This ain't got nothing to do.
No, that's fine. I know that's your team this year, but what I'm saying is they're gonna have to figure out another piece. They're heading in another direction. I just feel like with the moves they made.
But
now, like forget about all that. Like the fans, they trolling, but I mean, could be some.
Yeah, the Nova Knicks improved that they don't need Randall. It's clear. They're sitting there like, yeah.
But we would love to have him.
Nah, he's gone.
Who?
Yeah, Randall.
You think they'd be where they at right now if they had him playing?
No.
What you mean?
Because
He's a ball stopper.
He's a double-double.
Yeah, he's a double-double, but takes away from the double-doubles that they're doing.
I can't say that because I think he can adapt to understanding that it's Brunson's team now.
He wasn't even adapting when he was.
But because Brunson wasn't doing what he was doing now?
Dude, Randolph was walking around acting like he didn't want to play.
Because he was still taking the ownership of his team. He's like, man, this is my team, and it was a battle war. Now it's clear. This is my team, and now you got to fit in as a pick and pop guy, hit that shot, go get rebounds.
So he's going to just change his game.
Yes, he's going to have to.
I don't think so.
No.
Hey, what's up, guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports. Breaking news. I know you guys haven't seen me in a long time. Breaking news. The Knicks got their man, right? So if you recall, and probably you don't, about a year and a half ago, I mentioned that the Knicks were interested in one Karl-Anthony Towns. Now, a lot of people said, you know, that wasn't true. What the hell are you talking about? Yada, yada, yada. He is soft. That's what I kept hearing, that Karl-Anthony Towns is soft, which he is. I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying that that's what was said during that time, about a year and a half ago. And then maybe, I think, a couple months ago, I said that Julius Randle was going to get traded at some point because he did not fit with the Knicks. And a couple of you guys said basically, you know, they should keep Julius Randle, like, you know, why get rid of him kind of thing. He's a big body. I get it. But here's the problem. In my yesterday's podcast, or the day before, I basically said this. The fact that Julius Randle is going to have to play the 5. If this was still yesterday and he's still in the Knicks, he was going to have to play the 5 because Mitchell Robinson is not back from injury. So he won't be ready for the start of the season. So basically, you're going to ask Julius Randle to guard Joel Embiid, to guard Giannis, to guard Bam. Like, come on. Julius Randle, I know he's a big body. He's strong. I get it. But he doesn't have the wingspan as the guys that I just mentioned. He doesn't have the height as the guys that I just mentioned. And how the hell is he going to shot block those guys when he's playing the 5? Come on. Right? The Knicks knew better than this. And I think this was in the works. Right? Because there's a reason why Jalen Brunson took that massive pay cut. You know what I mean? So you basically made room for the cat. Now, Julius Randle, he had his issues in the New York media. He could handle it, right? He had thick skin. He could handle it. Remember that thumbs down he's talking about? This thing right here, the thumbs down part. You know, that wasn't revered in the New York media. That was, they ate him alive on that one. And he addressed it, he regretted it. Obviously, that was a dumb move, right? But the fact that Julius Randle got traded is because of the fact that he did not clear the lane for one Jalen Brunson. Like he did, right? But Julius Randle is the type of player that needs the ball in his hands at all times. Now, with the big cat coming in, he can stretch the floor, he can shoot. Obviously, he won that three-point contest a couple years back. And, you know, he can do all those things, and therefore he's a distraction for a lot of big bodies, and they can clear up the actual the paint for one Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, McBride, whatever you want to name it, he can do it, right? So that's why I'm saying that New York won this trade, right? We're going to talk about the New York side. New York won this trade. However, there's a downfall to this. Karl-Anthony Towns is not as mentally strong as some people, like in the East, like a Giannis or a Joel Embiid, right? So he's not as strong, and therefore this is going to take some time. This is not instant contenders. On paper, it looks good. On paper, it looks 100% good. But to be honest, this is not going to instantly make them contenders. They have to work at it. You know, training camp is in a couple days. And you're talking about, you know, Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges just getting introduced into the training camp facility and whatnot. So there has to be some sort of adjustment period for the Knicks, right? Let's talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves, because they were also involved in this. They got DiVincenzo, they got Julius Randle, they got a first rounder, and I think they another compensation that went to Charlotte, I believe it was. So another time I suggested, I made reference to the fact that Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards do not get along. They do get along for the most part, but there's some sort of a, you know, not absolute brotherhood amongst those two. Because as you just saw, you know, they don't really see eye to eye, right? They need Karl-Anthony Towns. He sat back while Anthony Edwards said something in the press conference. So, you know, this is not good. It's good that they sent him out, but now you have Rudy Gobert, Anthony Edwards, and one Julius Randle. Now, Julius Randle is the type of player that needs the ball in his hands at most times. So does Anthony Edwards. How many assists did the Ant have last year? He had maybe a couple, right? Same thing with Julius Randle. He had maybe a couple. So those two do not gel. They're not going to fit. And they only got Julius Randle because of his expiring deal. Now, that's the case. They might move him. They might move Julius Randle. He might be on the move at some point in the season, most likely at the trade deadline when everyone wants to get better. That might happen, right? We don't know. So now I'm not going to talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves prospects and you know, their chances of winning the West, because they're not done. They are not done by a long shot. This is not going to be their team going into the playoffs this season, next year. It is not. They're going to trade Julius Randle. You heard it here first. He has an expiring deal. They're not going to let him walk. 100%. They are not going to let him walk. And let's talk about the Knicks. You just saw where Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett were discussing. Paul Pierce goes, I don't think they're going to win. I was actually watching this clip when this news broke down. And then all of a sudden, you have Paul Pierce saying that the Knicks are never going to win a championship as long as he's alive. Well, guess what? I don't know about that, because now we're going to get into the fact that the big question, what are the Knicks' chances this season of winning the deal? What are the Knicks' chances of winning the championship? Are they any good? I have no idea, right? But I do know one thing, they did get better. They did get better because of the fact that Julius Randle is gone, and now you have Karl-Anthony Towns that can shoot better and can defend against one Joel Embiid, one Giannis, one Bam, and Kristaps Porzingis. So a lot of you guys are out there saying, who's going to be in the East Finals? Who's going to the finals, right? I was talking to Buddy, and his ranking order goes from Boston to New York to 76ers and to the Bucks, in that order. And I just don't agree with him. I 100% don't agree with him, because he made a good point. Boston has been together for quite some time. They just won the championship. Jason Tatum is only 26 years old. I get it. He's playing phenomenal basketball right now. But this team developed by the Knicks, they're gunning for the Boston Celtics. This team developed by Daryl Morey and the 76ers, they're gunning for the Celtics, right? The East is so strong. It's unbelievable. I always thought that the Knicks, when they made that Mikal Bridges trade, they were good, right? They were good. I didn't know about their starting center because they lost Hartenstein, and Mitchell Robinson, he's okay, but he gets injured. Now, you have clips of Stephen A saying, Julius Randle, he always goes left. He always goes left. And so that's the case here. But now he's gone. He's gone now, and therefore now you have one Karl-Anthony Towns that can guard, that can defend, that can shoot, that can block, that can do everything in the paint to one Joel Embiid, Giannis, Kristaps Porzingis, and Bam, right? So what is going to happen? I'll leave that question to you guys to answer. Who is coming out of the East to go to the finals? Because now, after this news, this rocked the NBA world heading into training camp right now. So you know for a fact that the Knicks are gunning for the championship. They want to go to the finals. This is it. They're stacking the deck. They already did. They're putting all their chips in, and now guess what? We have ourselves an Eastern Conference that we can actually watch. That's exactly what it is. So I'll leave you that question to you guys. Who is coming out of the East? Is it Boston? Is it 76ers, Philadelphia 76ers? Is it the New York Knicks? Is it the Miami Heat? Is it the Cleveland Cavaliers, Orlando Magic, Milwaukee Bucks, Indiana Pacers? It could be anyone, but I want to see what your guys' opinion is of the Knicks and this deal. Does this put them over the top? Leave a comment in the comment section. As always, Jag from Jaggy Sports.